Welcome everybody to episode 7 of We Gonna Win League podcast. We've got our regulars here today, Dennis and Tom. We're going to start off this week with the Arsenal and Newcastle game. I know it was on the Sunday, but just to keep it fresh, get a different perspective straight away rather than starting with Liverpool. I want to hear Tom's thoughts on the Arsenal game. Not just the Arsenal game, Newcastle game. Newcastle were very good, Arsenal were very good. But Tom, what a game! Like, what is your breakdown from it? It was a tremendous game. It had everything. I just want to hear it from an Arsenal fan. How do you feel?
First of all, I just want to have a bit of a minute of silence for our fallen comrade who isn't here tonight. James, he's backed out again.
Yeah.
So he's not in the crew.
No.
He must have disappeared off in the sunset.
Yeah.
So it's a shame.
He doesn't want to share the cost of the subscription for this meeting.
It's a shame that he puts other things above sort of being social and doing stuff with your mates.
Well, when it comes to sharing the royalties, we know where it's going.
A big shame, I have to say. But and also another thing was that I was away this weekend, so I didn't actually watch the game. I heard it on the radio coming up, and then I watched the highlights on the way back. So it's not the same, is it? It's not the same as watching the game and seeing everything that happens. But I heard quite a bit of it. And it seemed like it was a sensational game, sort of two giants. Whenever Arsenal go to Newcastle and play at the home ground, Newcastle always give us a very hard game. We do have a history of having very hard games against them. I think Arsenal started okay, and then there was the incident which was penalty at first, but then VAR called it and said that it wasn't penalty, and then Arsenal became a bit rattled by that for a bit of time. They felt that was a really big sort of injustice, and you could see in the players that really sort of rattled them a bit. But then they came back in the second half, sort of flying. There was some fantastic performances by Eze and Odegaard were sort of creative players, and they were great at doing that. And then Marino, a fantastic header to sort of get 1-1 after Newcastle scored with also a header. Basically, all three goals were headers, weren't they? So it's a goal of header. Basically like a game of headers. And then incredibly, Arsenal did what Liverpool have done in the past sort of 6 or 7 games and scored last minute.
And it's that man again.
How many goals is that now for Chris? He's going for the golden boot this season.
Yeah, man. He is. I mean, I think he had a real good game as far as I heard on the sort of commentary on the radio and from the highlights, both going forwards and defending as well. To be fair, Arsenal could and probably should have scored more than 2. There were a few other chances that we had. But Nick Pope was fairly good in goalkeeping for them. So all in all, I think that we deserved the win. I think that the penalty that was taken away in the first half for Arsenal, and then the incident later on with Gabriel sort of putting his sort of arm up like when falling, and it hit him in the box in the arm. I think probably sort of technically, there's all sorts of rules nowadays which like I don't even really sort of follow that much. Like there's so many that like it touches his leg and then hits his arm, and that means that it's not a handball. But then other people say that it is a handball. But the thing that I think is that really the fact that we didn't get the pen in the first half means that we were sort of owed.
What do you think about that first incident though? Is it concrete as the VAR said? Have you kind of understood? Yeah, maybe that's why they haven't given it, or are you still in disbelief?
And it wasn't a penalty, by the way.
So I can understand why they haven't given it, but most people are saying that it should have been one.
I don't think it was. I think Pope got the ball first, and Gyökeres just make it like, he could be a stuntman in Hollywood. The way he went on fall so quickly when the keeper came out. No, it was a right call from the VAR. I know we talk about VAR being in this scenario at this point. They were correctly. It was a good call. At the end of the day, it was a good call. To not give the penalty.
Do you think Nick Pope did enough then?
Say that again?
Do you think Nick Pope did enough to warrant it being a stone cold no penalty?
Yeah, I think he did enough. Yeah, because Gyökeres was coming to him so fast that he positioned his body and the ball hit his foot, and Gyökeres just made a big deal out of it, like as you do as a striker, for an Arsenal player. But yeah, if the referee could see it from behind, I think he saw it from behind the way Gyökeres came down and the keeper came out. You obviously give a penalty, and VR checked it, and if you look at the different angles, and it was a correctly called to cancel the penalty. When
I first saw it, I thought it was a stone cold penalty, and to be fair,
I thought so. Yeah,
that happens against one of my teams. I don't know. I'm not saying it wasn't a penalty. I'm also not saying it was a penalty. I think it just comes down to. You see him given and you see him not given. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I want to add, I think.
But it was very good of VAR to get that picture where he touched his foot. Because even when I watched it a couple of times, thinking, has that really touched his foot? But then you do see the ball move slightly. But again, some people say, what can Gyökeres do? I mean, the football played in.
He can't do much, can he?
And again,
he's going to score, so he's putting his whole sort of body towards it.
It's a good clear from
him. So he can't really move out of the way.
And so the second penalty claim, then, Gabriel's arm. I'll be honest with you. I thought if I was going to be non-biased, I thought the first one was a penalty, and I did think the second one was a penalty as well. To be fair, I'm surprised VAR didn't give that because his arm is so far up in the air.
Yeah. So I want to clear something about that. I think the last minute handball from Gabriel. So I actually read out the rules in the Premier League, right? So what happened is, in that situation, if you're going for the ball and dive and hit your foot and your arm on the side, being close to your body like that, that's automatically not handball because you can't control. If you're, it's natural position, isn't it? When you're your hands on your side. But the way Gabriel went like that, way up high, that's unnatural. I don't he blocked the ball from getting the crossing, and that should have been a penalty. But somehow, everybody on the expert of VR, they're
there is this complication, and this is what I was saying about. It's hard as a fan to even know sort of what is a foul anymore because there's so many different rules, and there's all the commentary was saying. That if it hits a part of the body and then hits the arm, then it's never handball. So it just makes you confused and it's really difficult to know what to think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is difficult. I think any other game, any other teams will play that. I think any type of not necessarily Premier League or it could have been easily a penalty straight away. But I think it's a penalty in my personal opinion. But maybe in the future they could just get a AI to do the analysis. Upload all the information about the Premier League rules, and they take a screenshot of the handball and put it onto ChatGPT and tell it, is this a definite handball? It is what it looks like.
Tom would be all for that because Tom loves AI, don't you, Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, the great benefits of AI. Yeah.
So what I want to ask you is, as an Arsenal fan, did you I don't want to say, did you think it's a penalty? Because you're not going to turn around and say yes, but did you think it's going to be a penalty this? Did you think it was going to be a penalty before you? Because obviously, in hindsight, he touches the ball with his arm. Until you read those rules, until you heard those rules, did you think it was going to be a penalty?
Well, so it's difficult for me to answer that really because I didn't watch it live. So I heard it on the radio. So like it was a little bit difficult because I didn't see it happening. But my initial thought was that it was a penalty. Yeah. So that was my initial thought. But then it's, as I say, like there's so many rules that I often wonder like how big the rule book is. Like,
exactly. And that's actually.
I'm like, is it like a whole house like wide of like
terms and conditions?
It's like so like narrow writing, and it's like massive sort of thing.
One thing I can, because I watched that game. I think first half Newcastle came in to fight. Which led them to get a corner goal. So it was a corner taken short, and then he went in through. And that was a good goal from Newcastle going into halftime. But I think what I could see Newcastle's fault was they were leading 1-0 around maybe, I think, 69th, 70th minutes when the manager decided to bring in another defender, Trippier, to put on to make it a 5-defender game. I thought he set back too early. I think that gave Arsenal the power to come back, win that game. I think that was the biggest mistake of the game. That they were parking the bus too early. I don't think you should be doing that, and they got punished, rightly so.
But then, interestingly, that's usually the secret to like trying to stop Arsenal from scoring, isn't it? I mean, like. We've seen a long time that like that sort of low block tactic works.
Yeah.
So perhaps Arsenal is starting to be able to sort of get through that as well. So I think it's a good sign for Arsenal going forward.
What I want to mention in that game, it was Declan Rice that got the first goal. The assist that he got from a corner to Moreno to head it in. It was such a perfect ball to cross in from Declan Rice. And I hate to say it, I think he's the best midfielder in the Premier League, along with Gravenberch. I think Declan Rice and Gravenberch together, mate, you're gonna win the league with that team. That combination of I hate to, like Declan Rice. I wanted him to fail so much when he signed for Arsenal for 100 million, but that price tag now, I think it's a bit cheap now for Declan Rice. I think he's been an outstanding player for the club. I think it's worth more than 100 million now. I think what he's been doing for Arsenal, keeping them in, it's remarkable. Don't you feel so?
Didn't he cost them 150 million?
100 million they bought him from West Ham.
He was around 100, yeah. Well, I
3 years ago.
So I think Wes is a brilliant player.
He's such a good player. Like the way he crossed the ball.
I think he's great all round, but it's really good because I think he used to be a defensive midfielder more so at West Ham, and then since playing at Arsenal, I think he does do that defending, but also he's really good at going forward and creating chances. And I mean, his corners are like some of the best sort of corners of any player like in the world. I mean, like his accuracy from corners is just really good.
I would like going to the World Cup. I want to mention the World Cup next year briefly. For England to have Declan Rice as an asset, it's just a way. I think this is England's chance to win it. In the World Cup next year. And Harry Kane is on form in a minute. Scoring from Bayern Munich, and them two combination and Bellingham in midfield. And oh my God, like England could do damage in the USA next year. Hopefully.
What I want to touch on is we've seen Liverpool come back late in big games. What does Arsenal's late comeback say about their mentality under pressure? They were a lot, Arteta was penalised to say he was putting on the handbrake, but on that match, it was a totally different Arsenal.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I can only hope that it's a sign of sort of growth, a sign of sort of being more flexible. But yeah, I mean, it was a really good sign that we're really, really fighting towards the end. We're really trying
I think
to
that was the first time I
because
saw Arsenal with a bit of urgency to win the game. You know, at second half, when I think 78 minutes, when they saw Newcastle change the system to park the bus that early, I think Arteta took off Saka, brought in Marino.
and he brought in Odegaard as well.
Odegaard, yeah, and it was a great.
He was key in that. Yeah,
this is the Arteta that people have been shouting about for so many times. That, you know, why aren't you making this substitution that can change the game? As much as I hate to say this, but Arteta made the correct call in the situation in the second half. Like, seeing Newcastle park the bus that early, I thought Arteta was like, do you know what? Bugger this off. We'll put every single asset that we have on the field now and trying to get a win, and it worked. It worked perfectly. Yeah, amazing win from Arsenal.
One of the other big talking points is the come together. Is it a come together of Gabriel?
Oh, I think we've got
a little bit of a tussle. Gabriel, I think he made the first contact. They're pulling Walter Maida, is his name?
Yes, that's okay,
Walter Maida, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, do you mean?
It was a little bit. Well, so what they're saying, is that I think that Walter Maida slightly pushed Gabriel, basically as he was going to head of the ball, and people were saying that maybe that should have been given as a foul. But I think after watching replays, it's pretty clear that like that was just like a little like sort of like a slight sort of hand on the shoulder sort of thing, and he was going towards the ball, so like he wasn't doing it to actually push him over, but like he was going towards the ball and like his hand just sort of was in front of him. So I don't
agree with that
at all. Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I have no opinion on it, to be honest. I don't like Gabriel. They should got Newcastle penalty for that.
2 penalties to Newcastle.
He's gunning for the golden boot, which I don't like. That's Isak.
Head to head with Salah.
Head to head with Isak with his one goal.
Well, Isak's not done great for you guys, has he? Yeah. So let's move on to that now.
Let's move on to Liverpool's game.
Before we actually move on, I wanted to say something. I think I want to mention Manchester United's game against Burnley away. If you want to talk about that briefly.
Oh, like you on about that
3-1,
and there was a controversial decision.
Did you watch it, Greg?
Did I watch the Man United and Burnley game? No, I watched the highlights.
I did the same thing. How do you think going forward that Manchester United with Amorini, do you reckon he'll be in his last game on this weekend now if he loses again?
Amorim is very lucky that Jim Ratcliffe has made that many terrible decisions. Oh, not terrible decisions, but that many harsh decisions at Manchester United that he doesn't want to look like he's made an even bigger mistake with Amorim.
Yeah.
I think if he didn't cut all the staff's wages and make loads of redundancies and cut back on Christmas parties and just being basically a businessman at Manchester United, I think he knows. I think he knows the manager's stubborn. The manager doesn't want to play a different way. Last week, the manager said, "Oh, it isn't the system," but with that many,
you're playing
that much money they spent on players, you would expect them to win against Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea aren't something special. Yes, you know, I'm probably getting crucified for saying that, but Chelsea have had a good start, but they've got their issues as well. But to lose against Burnley in that system, still play Fernandes in a midfield role when he's clearly an attacking midfielder. I think on Match of the Day they said the amount of times he changed his system. it's like he doesn't have a plan A, B, or C. The plan is, I'll bring this player on now. 10 minutes later, I'll bring another player on. Move that player back to right back, then to left back, then in the middle. The players must be thinking, what the hell's going on?
He's playing checkers on his little tactic books on
Yeah,
the
he
sideline.
is.
One thing that surprises me is I didn't realize this. He's been playing three defense on the back formation, 3 at the back. I mean, like if you're Manchester United, you shouldn't be playing 3 defense on the back. You know, I think that's a big problem for. I think it is down to the manager. I don't think it's the players. They've got enough talent to win games there, but I think the manager got all his tactic wrongs.
I read.
We saw the players playing last season how good they were. And Mbeumo, Cunha, you know, we've seen how good they are. Even Sesko had a really good season to the point that Arsenal were looking into him. So it's clearly not the players; it's the system that's been played, and I don't think he's going to change. I think he's too inexperienced from our liking for a manager who should be in Manchester United to admit he's wrong and change a different system.
Mm-hmm.
I read somewhere that Ratcliffe actually is going to keep him for the whole season now because the article was saying, and like perhaps it's a little bit more what sort of Craig was sort of saying, but that's sort of like if you read in between the lines, but it was saying that he wants to give a manager like a whole season to try and to be able to shape the players and sort of get the team going, rather than doing what they were doing, which was sacking them every other 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. I mean,
then perhaps that's because he is embarrassed about what he's done, like as Craig was saying.
So you think it's
like rather than trying to sort of do
it their egos matter for the owner?
Who knows?
He doesn't want to let go of the bad management because of his ego, because he brought him in early on. I reckon that's what the problem is.
I think the problem is when you're not paying big money for players just because they are stars. I don't think you look at Arsenal and Liverpool, even Man City, they buy players and they kind of develop players. You know, Doku wasn't a fantastic player before he come in. He's brilliant.
Oh, he's great.
Manouche, again, yes, he had potential, but he wasn't like the star. Whereas if you look at Man United, they buy players like Mount and Wemo, Cunha, all good players, all great players, but we're great in assisting the play, and it's not just the individual play, it's a team that playing. And I think Man United they've got to sort the goalkeeper out for one. I mean, that goalkeeper it's atrocious.
They replaced the flashy keeper Onana with this one. I love it. It's a fantastic team. I think I love the team. I love the Manchester United's manager. And I hope he continues to be there for such a long time, maybe 20 years, just like Ferguson did. I think they will continue to play the way they are. It's the best. It's the best moment every.
Oh dear me!
I think we love him. We love him, don't we? Don't we love him?
We do.
Everybody agrees with me. We love the Manchester United team right now and how they're performing. I hope they'll keep continuing doing what they do.
And we're all here for it. One thing you're not going to love is bringing up the results at the weekend on the Saturday, which was Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. I mean, the key moments for that match were Sarr scored a very early goal. Federico Chiesa again scored just before the 90 minutes, at 87 minutes. And then, if anything, Crystal Palace had a Liverpool and scored late on. Liverpool dominated most of that game, but I'll be honest with you, I had a feeling Palace were going to come on top of this game.
Liverpool didn't dominate the game. Come on.
Well, the stats were 71% possession to Liverpool, so I don't know if you're working percentages.
Well, the fact is that they should have scored about 4 or 5 goals. I mean, if you look at all the attempts they had, and Alisson saved your bacon time and time again.
Alisson had a good,
incredible.
Had a great game, but Liverpool, would say, dominated most of the game. Most of the ball they dominated then, yeah.
Okay.
Most of the ball to Palace.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Dennis, how do you feel? I mean, are you okay? We need to on you. Do we need to?
It's one of those games that I think it was a must win, because if Arsenal would win, they would close the gap on the points. But I think although there's some concerns, it's not the end of the world knowing that we've won the 5, maximum points until this weekend. This that would still keep us up front of the league. Going to the Crystal Palace game, I knew it's gonna be difficult. Like, we played them. I watched the community shields against Palace, and I don't understand why Onslaught doesn't treat Crystal Palace like an Everton game, like an Everton type team. When we played against the Derby last weekend, he had the right players on field, the system, the formation. He had the right, and that's where we were able to win that game. But this time, it looks a little bit different. The team sheets. I'll read it to you. The changes that he made was leaving Gakpo on the bench and playing Florian Wirtz on the left wing. Now, I don't know about you. I've never seen Florian played in that role before. In Germany, not in Liverpool so far, not in training. But somehow against Crystal Palace, Onslaught came in and he goes, all right, Florian, you play on this left wing, and then you sort things out. And I thought that was just the biggest misshape of the match. Obviously, you had Mo Salah, Isak was starting, and to mention, Ikiteke got a red card during midweek, so that's why he wasn't able to make it for this game. And he was such a loss for this game. I think Ikiteke would have made a difference to make a comeback. Although Isak didn't play too well, but he did have some insight. I think there was one point of the game where Isak nearly scored. He was going head to head in the box, and he was about to shoot the ball into the bottom right corner, which I 100% believe it was going to go in. Somehow he tripped on the defender's foot, and so he couldn't get his balance. He was off balance before, and he missed the shot. And I thought that was his big chance, but good on the defenders for Crystal Palace. It was a very painful to watch first half. Crystal Palace was the best team. I accept the defeat. There's no complaint there. I'm not a sour Arsenal fan that will just make excuses to say, "Oh yeah, we're the better team," even though you weren't. But it was a hard watch. I think Alex did what he did best. One thing again, Kirkas gave away the last minute throw in that allowed Crystal Palace to get the goal. I just don't understand that kid, man. It's just like he had the chance. He had some time to clear the ball with his right foot. I think because he's left-footed, he turned around his body and kicked the ball out to the sidelines, like for a throw in, rather than just clearing the ball all the way out. When it's like a minute left. I was like, Kirkus, what the hell are you doing, man? So I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand some little minor decision that some of these players are making, like little mistakes. Like surely, man, come on, just.
Well, Slot seemed to. I'm not quite sure who he hinted at in his post-match comments. He didn't really bring that up. He said something about there's one player. He just kept saying there's one player who wanted to attack rather than defend, and it was one player's individual. To counter attack. Now I rewatched that goal, and I can't make out if he's on about Gakpo, who kind of runs out of the box as if to hope the ball gets headed out, or Curtis Jones, who probably left his man. I'm not quite sure who he was on about. He was never really tested on the question who he was on about.
Isn't it a bit of a weird thing for Slot to even mention it like that? I mean, a head teacher, basically, trying to signal out somebody, but not call them out publicly. That's a bit of a weird way of having to go at one of your teammates. It's a bit strange of Slot. I
thought one of them would have to do a welfare check on Dennis when Crystal Palace scored that late win, and then Arsenal scored theirs.
The irony of all. I mean,
I was really concerned, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, Konate, he's been really below average.
Tennis, I just want to bring that up. I mean, is Konate wearing a Arsenal shirt under the one?
I think he was wearing a Madrid t-shirt.
I think
he had a Madrid shirt on.
If they had first choice, I mean, it's unfortunate Leone's injured, but if they had a first choice centre-back on that bench, I can guarantee you now he'd be on that bench in that match. Yeah. But he must be wearing an Arsenal or Madrid shirt.
I mean, tell you what, Mark Gui, He played so well. He kept Mo Salah quiet. The gay, yeah. He kept Mo Salah so quiet throughout the game, and he was responsible for keeping that back line for Crystal Palace to not allowed Liverpool to get a shot. Like Florian, man, I don't know what to make of him. I think Onslaught is struggling where to put him in, because when you have McAllister and Szoboszlai, that's been the backbone of midfield last season, and we won the league with them, and they continue to play well, and they're not playing bad. But because when you brought in 120 million pound player like Florian, you feel the need that you have to play him. I think you have to sign a contract saying you gotta play him all the time like a first team. If you don't want to play him, then you gotta tell the reason why, like he did against Everton. I think Florian came out saying, "Oh yeah, he told me about the derby, that's why I started from the bench." But I think you need to bench him next time for the next game. Just start McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch, and Gakpo on the left.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because you come back to saying, I don't know what Slot was doing playing Wirtz on the left. I mean, I've got two questions for you. One of them, does it actually show Liverpool's depth is now being tested? Because yes, they have a lot of good players on the bench. Where's Arsenal got a player for each position? You do look to the bench and think, who is Gakpo's understudy? Because let's be faced, Gakpo isn't playing amazing because he hasn't probably got that competition. But my second question is, does Chiesa deserve a start? I mean, if there's one player in Liverpool who deserves a place in that first 11, he's the player who's pulling out. I mean, he don't stop running.
I agree with that, Craig.
I think Chiesa should start on the left, I think.
He deserves to start the game, and if it is at the left, you say to Chiesa, this is your big opportunity, because I tell you what, I don't know what Slot's beef is with him, because before he joined Liverpool, he was one of the top talents in the world, as in...
Yeah, he came in, it was injury. He had an injury when he came in, and obviously he got better now. He's got beef with Chiesa. I don't know. Maybe if it's Italian, maybe he just doesn't like him.
Yeah, I think it's a decision where I don't think Slot wanted him. Liverpool paid for him, and now Slot
10 million. It was a cheap, it was a bargain price, 10 million last summer.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. And I mean, Tom, is Liverpool's depth, being tested now? I mean, what does this mean for the title race again? I mean, does it give Arsenal more optimism?
I mean, we were always quite sort of optimistic, and we weren't really worried. The fact that Liverpool had won the first 5 games, I mean, that's not really that special and not really that amazing sort of run, really. I mean, we all thought that Liverpool might come undone at some point, and I think it's pretty obvious that it was going to happen sometime. And Palace are a very good team who, if they manage to keep hold of all their players, then Palace are probably going to end up in a place in the league where they get Champions League place maybe next season. So Palace are a great team, great side. And I mean, as I said, I mean, I truly believe that a scoreline more sort of that actually reflects the sort of passion of both teams is more like 4-1 or 5-1 to Palace, really. I mean, the fact that Palace were able to get all those great shots through and on target and really had to test Anderson, it really meant that it was one player that saved you.
Yeah, I mean,
losing
the first
5-1. So
I gotta admit though, even though Palace did so well in the first half, it was a blunder corner that gave away the first goal. It was Gravenberch hit him in the head, and it just fell on his feet, on Sar's foot, and all he did was just, he had so much space to tuck the ball in, and Alisson couldn't do anything about it. That was 9 minutes into the game, so they were already up 1-0. But it took 87 minutes for Liverpool to get introducing Chiesa to get the comeback goal.
Again, getting a goal back, easy.
Yeah, I thought I was happy to get a draw then. Like but because there was during the first half there was like a 10-12 minute delay because some accident was happening on the fan in the corner, and everyone on all the players were shouting to stop the game to help the send the medics to the fans out. So that delayed the game, which added like 10-12 minutes into the first half. And again, it was
like funny how now you're saying that you're settled for a draw when you're having to go at Arsenal for like playing in that way and setting in for a draw. Well, when they were saying that, well, you're settled for a draw. So like,
well,
not really.
no,
That's
really.
winning,
when you're playing,
winning mentality that you said Liverpool had. Oh.
Yeah, we did, and we came back. We came back to get a goal back. Supposed to be 1-1, but Kerkes, it's just one of those bloody things that.
Oh, Dan, you make me laugh.
It's the same as the Newcastle when they equalised for the second goal. When they were 2-0 up, 2-1 scoreline, and Newcastle they set piece in the last minute, and they managed to equalise. Luckily we won that game, but still, it was a horrendous first half. But I wouldn't say this thing about the second half. I think Liverpool was stronger on the second half, and they managed to get a goal back.
I mean, let's not take anything away from Palace. Palace like to...
Oh no, I'm not. Yeah, I think Palace were the better team.
I mean, Palace now are the only team unbeaten, the second in the league. I mean, it's early days, 6 games in, but can they sustain this form and challenge for a top 4 spot?
I think they will. We talked about our prediction last time, and I think Crystal Palace would get into. I did say Crystal Palace finish 5th, but I think they'll finish higher.
I think the important thing is that they need to be very careful about playing their players too much and sort of managing their squad well, because if they play those key players throughout the game, then like come after winter, they'll start to drop fitness levels, and then it's probably then where they might not sort of be able to stay up.
The real test now is when Crystal Palace play Arsenal. That's going to be an interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely very excited for that. I mean, that's something that I was going to ask you. I mean, so your next run of matches in the league,
we got Chelsea next time.
Yeah, Chelsea, and then Man United, and then Brentford, and then you got Aston Villa, and then Man City. So that's not.
I wouldn't say they are easy.
I mean, that's quite a lot of games that are not necessarily sort of easy games, are they? We're not coming off.
I mean, Chelsea is 50-50. I think
the wheels will come up, then, basically. That's what you're saying. The wheels.
No, but just saying that like that is quite a tough run of games, and now that you've lost one game, that's going to really make Slot sort of really think about sort of what he does, and that might actually help you really, because
of course it would help us. I think
that might really focus him up and really get you like a better squad for like that Chelsea game. Like that might be good for you.
I think last season we lost against
the other way. So
remember last season, I think the 3rd or 4th game we lost to, is it Forest? And then we just went stronger from there. So we've been in this situation before, Tom. I don't think Liverpool fans has got to worry yet to worry about the coming matches. Now if Chelsea wins it, if we lose against Chelsea, and then Arsenal wins the game, and then Arsenal ahead on the league, I think. But it's we'll see. We'll see this period.
I think the reason why I said that was because the matches that Arsenal have coming up are seemingly a little bit. Well, I mean, we've got West Ham, then Fulham, but then Fulham are kind of like a derby team, and we do struggle sometimes against Fulham. But then we've got Palace, and then we've got Burnley. So, and then we got Sunderland, and then Spurs. So I think it looks like it's a slightly sort of easier sort of run of games. So that could turn the tables and sort of make us first to second for like a while.
That's it.
Did we see any other games? If not, I just want to bring up the fact that last Wednesday night, Arsenal got rattled by Port Vale in the Carabao Cup. I mean, Arsenal scored a first goal, very good move. But for the rest, for about 80 odd minutes, I think Port Vale was giving Arsenal a bit of a taste of
a run for the money
of proper football, defending-esque. Trossard was about 3 miles offside, but still got the goal, which that is the FR bloody referee, so nothing new there. But I mean, Tom, we went that game together. It wasn't the best football because Arsenal were playing this football of pass. But I mean, got on the victory in the end, but Vale did very well, to be fair to
very strong team though.
Goals, to let a goal at 7 minutes in, I thought that's it then. I thought 5-0 for half time, and I thought we were going to make sure it didn't go to 10. But I mean, Vale did really, really well. And to be fair, I was gutted that it went to 2-0. I thought 1-0 is probably the right result.
Yeah.
For the defending on show, for not crumbling under pressure.
Arteta went in there with the team like the most power as well. It wasn't like a reserve team. Looking at the team sheets, it was. Did you see your boy Saka, Tom? Did you enjoy that?
It was it was a great game to watch, but I do agree with pretty much everything you said, Craig. There, I mean, it was a great game to watch, but it also was quite a dull game in terms of the play. Arsenal, I think, were basically playing a possession sort of game and then trying to get the odd goal here or there. I do think Port Vale did well and man-marked really well in defence. And I was surprised, actually, that Arsenal didn't win by more, for sure, because they scored in the 8th minute, like you said. And then I was thinking, oh, right, so like now we're like 5-0 or 6-0, something like that. But Port Vale did do very, very well and held Arsenal back for a while. And then we got that goal late on, didn't we, to get to make it 2-0.
I think Arteta showed Port Vale quite a lot of respect by putting out a strong team as well. And to bring Rice on as well, as you said, we know how good Rice has been. To bring him on around the 80-minute mark, that was a bit class as well, because obviously for all these Vale players, that was a highlight to play, because obviously football, there's so many teams, so many players in the footballing system that they're just like the fans, really. If they can play in a big game, it benefits them going into the league as well. I mean, Port Vale went into the weekend beating Barnsley 2-0. And I think, I'm not saying it's because they did very well against Arsenal, but matches like that are going to give them experiences and only going to benefit them. So Vale are on 3 games on the bounce now in the league of winning. They had a terrible first start to the season, mainly because we couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. But coming back to that Arsenal game, I think it's just going to give everybody in that team an uplift of they want to be part of these big games. They want to be part of games against the big teams in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing I noticed about the sort of Port Vale game was to do with the fans. I mean, they're absolutely great fans, and the atmosphere was electric. Port Vale fans were singing their hearts out like all night long, and it was just really, really exciting to sort of be at that stadium and see the crowd really singing their hearts out, and it was quite an atmosphere, because I think it's the first time since 1993 or something that they had 16,000 fans in the stadium. So that was really a great privilege to actually be a part of that. Yeah, so that was awesome.
Do you think it was a missed opportunity for Arsenal's fringe players? When I say fringe, I'm talking the players who might not be the first on the team sheet to play better, to give Arteta more of an headache to start them in the Premier League.
You mean players like Downman? I mean, like he got on a little bit.
Ben White, maybe. I'm on more Ben White, who Timbers more the first choice now. What's his name? Norgard.
Yeah. Well,
Rest. Get him in a reserve, mate.
Gyökeres did have actually a chance at the end, and the Vale's goalkeeper
came on, yeah. So
Vale's goalkeeper come out make the decision to get the ball off Gyökeres and clear the ball.
I mean, I think he played sort of most of the team and rotated, didn't he? So like, I don't think that was
Scally and Nawani is his name.
Yeah,
these kind of players who are trying to say, I can do a job. Or do you just think Arsenal comfortable because they could pass it around?
Well, they were comfortable, but then I'm sure there'll be other games where like he can put them on as well. So like, it's not the end of the world. I mean, that's what I'm saying is that there's plenty of games in the season. There's league, there's the Carabao Cup, there's the Champions League, there's the FA Cup. So there's lots of opportunities for them to come on.
Bale had a couple of opportunities. One of them was Devante Cole, who I think should have started. He's our main man. He's quality. He had a shot from outside the area, and the ball was dipping. Goalkeeper, an Arsenal player got, I think, a touch on the ball, which led to a corner. And one chance that I saw live in the game, which I haven't seen on a replay yet anywhere, was I'm almost positive in the first half, Bale had a corner, and I can't remember what play it was, give Kepa some work to do. I think he might have gone straight at Kepa, but I'm sure there was a save at the beginning in the first half, but I can't see any replay on that at all. But yeah, I mean, that's two great chances, and I'm disappointed. I'm chuffed that we didn't get annihilated, but I'm just disappointed that last goal. I'm sure there was a call for Trossard being offside, but unfortunately, it is what it is. And I just think it was more deserved that it was 1-0 than 2-0. But it was a valiant effort.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they can continue their game plan. Get them to the championship eventually.
One day.
Before we finish up, I just want to mention, we all FIFA fans here, or 40 game fans here. EA, the parent company of FC 24-25, has just been sold to a private investment firm over the Saudi.
Oh, right.
And they paid $55 billion for it to take the company private. So meaning when they take the company private, they're taking off the stock market. At the moment, EA is listed in the stock market, so shareholders can buy shares of the company. But now they've been bought out outright, and they're taking the company off, meaning that they now have full control. Like whoever bought the company now, they have full control of the company, of EA, and where they're going forward in the future. What do we think about that? If Saudi Arabia buying the entire football community, good thing, bad thing.
I suppose it's better than Israel buying it.
They are part of the deal. It's really.
I knew that after this conversation. I knew somewhere Israel would not even be mentioned in this conversation.
It's just.
Let me just say I'm neutral on views. It's Dennis has a gripe, but anyway.
Speaking of Israel, by the way, I want to mention this. There are a few.
The only bad thing I think that could be about it is if it. For the quality of the game. We all know that FIFA games aren't amazing in terms of every year they come out, that there isn't that much change. So we all know that in terms of that. But I think something that helps games to be better and helps most things to be better is if there's difference in like ownership, because then there could be more creativity in sort of creating better gameplay and all that sort of stuff. So I think the only downside can be that if it becomes a bit of a monopoly and they own everything, and then it will mean that that it will only get worse in terms of creativity or creating something a little bit different.
Price fixing on the actual game.
Yeah.
Usually it happens all the time, price fixing. When now it's taken private, the company's taken private, nobody can see their books. Because if you're a public company, you have to publish your books, your accounting saying, and people can see it. But now it's been taken private. You don't know how much they're making or how much they're making certain games for.
So basically, you're saying that the next FIFA is going to be like 120 quid, yeah? Nice.
It could be, potentially, yeah. It's going to come one day sooner, It's already 70 quid.
What do you think, Alex? I mean, what do you think? What do you think? I mean,
what I think on the deal?
How do you think?
Pardon?
What do you think it will mean? It was in like, what is the outcome of this?
Sorry, you were asking us. I didn't know if you had an opinion.
I'm thinking. I'm saying that the only game that I played with EA is, FC 25, the football game. I don't play the other games that they've got. I don't even know what they are. In football terms, I think it'll still be the same. I think it'll be the same as it's always been the same for the last 25 years. I think FIFA will always be the same. But I think they'll have more Saudi Arabia teams now. It's gonna they probably add like a little extra rating on Saudi Arabia players now that they've got a new owner. And obviously,
so that he's actually downgraded to a 2 because the PIF brought it. Who also
that's the thing, isn't it? You don't know like if they're gonna like see it based on their performance or they just like downgrade players whenever they like and put Mbappe into like another again 10 out of 10 rating.
Human.
But we'll see. Only time will tell. Like Tom said, when it becomes a monopoly, your choices are very limited. One more, and before we go, Craig mentioned Israel. I don't want to be political on this podcast, but there are so many talks now, but we can't really ignore it. You can laugh about it, but it's a situation that's very public now. I think it's worth mentioning. No other podcast don't want to mention it, but one thing that I've heard a lot on the sources is that Spain, the Spanish team, this national team, one of the best footballing country, nation on earth, that they may boycott the World Cup 2026 if Israel doesn't get kicked out of the competition. And there are other countries are signing a petition now as well that they may not play at the World Cup if Israel will continue to be part of that. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
What is your source?
Means England might have a chance.
Just based on that opinion, Tom, I want to know, is a yes or no?
I want to know, what is the source of where you read that or heard that?
Well, that's what the Prime Minister said of Spain. If you Google it now, you can see it.
Okay.
Would you support that call of action to boycott Israel?
I think it's probably quite a good idea. Yeah.
I mean, it's only fair if they're gonna kick out Russia for doing what they did. I think, without being picking on Israel.
I mean, I think most people now are agreeing that Israel are doing absolutely atrocious things against Palestine. But again, we just said that we weren't going to be speaking about this sort of stuff. Now you've got me on record saying
no, it is part of the.
Damn you, Dan.
No, you gotta put this.
Damn you for coaxing it out of me after all this time. If you stop talking about
it, I think it's just gonna put under the rug. I think it's a serious problem that.
Oh yeah, but it is. Yeah.
Like Russia, when Russia came in, they got kicked out immediately. Even non-football related against Russia, even like the tennis player were getting kicked out of the games. While Israel does
Yeah,
the same thing, and they get to continue to play, and then they get to continue going on Eurovision to finish number 2 every single year
yeah.
Eurovision, which is really weird. But anyway,
My thinking behind that quickly is just that it's just because it's a bit further abroad to us
yeah,
than Ukraine and Russia. So it's that sort of thing of stuff that you can't see is not sort
yeah,
of bothering you. Like whereas stuff that's closer to home, you feel like you have to act. Whereas that isn't necessarily a good way of doing it, is it?
Mhm.